And now we got to check in on politics because over in California, something very strange just happened. Golden State voters actually rejected a radical progressive economic proposal. Take a listen to some coverage from Fox Business.
Californians have rejected Prop 32 by a very narrow margin. The measure would have raised the state's minimum wage to $18 per hour, making it the first state minimum wage increase to fail at the ballot in nearly 3 decades. But Joe Connie, he's the California Restaurant Association CEO. He says it's important that policymakers hear the message being sent by voters, stop using California consumers as guinea pigs for public policy experiments that make life more expensive for everyone.
Yeah, so you heard that correctly. California voters voted down a ballot initiative to raise the statewide minimum wage to $18 an hour. And it's kind of crazy that we're only finally getting this confirmation now, weeks after the election, because that's how long it takes California to count its votes. Like, I'm no expert on electoral systems, but we've got to be able to do it more effectively and more efficiently than that. That's absolutely wild. But on this specific issue, I'm surprised but happy to see California voters having some common sense. We all want hardworking people to earn more, and we all know that people are struggling to get ahead, but just hiking up minimum wage laws is not the way to do it. Wages go up naturally when there's competition and a hot labor market. Labor is very in demand. And when workers are able to be more productive or gain experience or increase their skills, but just artificially setting the minimum wage higher doesn't create new jobs and doesn't create more productivity or value in employees. So all you're really doing is making it illegal for a business to employ somebody who can only produce $15 or $16 or $17 an hour in value for that company. Well, it would make sense for somebody to employ them at $14 an hour if they can produce $17 an hour of value for me at Target. But if the minimum wage is $18 and this entry-level employee, this 17-year-old, can only produce $14 an hour in value for me as an employee, I'm not going to employ them at a loss because of California minimum wage laws. I'm not going to employ them at all. I'm going to increase automation. I'm going to have my existing employees who are more productive work more hours. You're just going to price people out of the labor market. And to whatever extent they are forced to pony up and pay higher wages, we end up seeing those costs just passed along to consumers via higher prices. So the actual purchasing power, the real income that working class people have, doesn't necessarily go up just because you raise the minimum wage. If their wage is higher, the number on their paycheck is bigger, but the things they buy at the places they go to also become more expensive, they're not better off. But of course, raising the minimum wage is one of those things that sounds great. Like, why wouldn't you want people to earn more? And surely those greedy corporations can suck it up and just take it out of their profits. But if you're familiar with economics and how this stuff really works, that's not how it actually works out in practice. But most of the time when people are voting on these things, they don't know that. And they just go with kind of surface level emotions or what feels good or sounds right. So I'm honestly surprised to see California voters vote this down. It seems like the kind of thing they would approve, but maybe times are changing. Maybe they're finally realizing that progressive policies have made their state increasingly uninhabitable and unaffordable, and maybe they're finally waking up and going to try something different. What do you guys think? Would you have voted yes or no on this initiative? Let me know in the comments below.